Have you ever woken up in the morning and wondered where you should be studying? Have you ever been debating on whether to go to the library versus whether to go and study in a cafe versus whether to study at home? Well, if you have, then this video is for you. Today, we're going to evaluate all the different places that you can study to determine what the perfect study spot is. And this will be unique to you, but this video is going to help you figure the answer out for yourself. So hey guys, my name is Siobhan and I'm a 4th year medical student studying at King's College London, and I make YouTube videos about medical school and university. So if you haven't checked my channel out yet, go check it out right now because I make videos about, like I said, medical school and university. So that includes vlogs, day in the life videos, videos on how to get into medical school / university and how to survive medical school / university as well. Check it out, and if you think it's something you'd be into, then smash that subscribe button and join me for a lot more. But back to the main topic. Today we're going to be talking about what the best study spot is. So what determines the quality of a study spot? You want to be productive, you want to be efficient, you want to enjoy the process of studying over there, right? Those are the main things. But how do you evaluate these things? Because they're very intangible. So I'm going to list a bunch of factors, and these are the things that we're going to consider when evaluating each study spot. So you have comfort, which is very important, the number of distractions or the level of distractions, your ability to focus in this study spot, whether or not you have productive company, and lastly, what is your setup like? So that means your immediate surroundings and the resources that you have available to you. So what are the different locations we're going to be talking about? Well, the first is university / the library. The second is your home, and the third is a cafe or a public study space. Now, of course, studying isn't just limited to these 3 places. You can study in all sorts of weird locations. Like once I went and studied in a park because all the cafes were full. But if there's a 4th option that's good for you, maybe you'll be able to figure that out as well through just thinking about what makes a study spot good and what makes one bad. So firstly, the library / university. So when we're talking about the library or university, we can essentially classify that into 2 different areas. So you have silent areas and you have discussion zones or areas where you don't have to be silent, like rooms on campus and stuff. What are the advantages of going to university or library to study? Firstly, it's the best place to study in a group because it's a great place to convene with other students from your university, from your course, and to sort of get together because it's a common location for all of you and there's enough space to accommodate everybody. Usually you'll have the resources to take up a room, and therefore you can, seclude yourself from everyone else and focus on whatever you're doing as a group. The silent area, on the other hand, forces you to focus. So it's essentially a place where you can't talk, right? Because a library is supposed to be quiet and you're supposed to be silent. So you have to focus on whatever's in front of you. At the same time, there are a bunch of people around you, all on their laptops, all studying. So you're motivated to, or kind of in a good way, pressured to be productive and to get some work done because you're looking at everyone around you, or at least I am when I'm in the library and going, damn, everyone's working so hard, I should be as well. And lastly, you have access to a bunch of resources when you're in the library or at university. For example, you probably have access to university desktops or public desktops, and you'll have access to a wide array of books as well, if anyone uses them in today's day. At least I've never used a book at university so far. Although one disadvantage I'd say of the library is that you have a little less flexibility to get things done in the way you want. For example, if you need a break, you really have to get up and get out of that area. And many times I don't like the forced silence because it makes me feel very restless, and then what that results in is just me working for a bit and then feeling restless and then just getting up and leaving and not doing anything at all. Another thing is the barrier of getting up in the morning, and traveling to the library to start studying, and that makes it not so useful if you're not going to be spending a long time there. For example, if you're just planning on studying for an hour or two and the library is a bit far away, then you're really wasting a lot of time commuting all the way to the library and then sitting down and studying and then commuting all the way back. You can save a lot of time by just doing that, studying at home or somewhere close to you. That conveniently takes us on to our next place, which is your home. So a big advantage of being at home is you can make your environment very personal to you, whether that's the study setup on your desk or you studying anywhere else in the house. For example, if you like to sit on the sofa and study, or if you like to lie down on the bed and study. Typically that's not a great idea, but it may work for some people. Being at home gives you the ability to experiment with that and figure out what's most comfortable for you. So the level of comfort at home is really unmatched. Obviously, it's easily accessible and takes away any commuting time because you can get up, get out of bed, literally wash your face, brush your teeth, and get to it straight away, no time wasted. However, I find at home it's very easy to do something else. You're easily distracted by other tasks or other things to do rather than other people, because you have your bed right there next to you, and cleaning, all these other things. When you're outside the house, you inevitably figure out a way to get around these things, and honestly what I've realized is the more time you spend at home, the more the tasks pile up. And lastly, it can also get really boring to study at home. You're alone and it's really not a change of an environment because that's just where you live, that's your constant environment, so you're not getting a change. It can be monotonous and that can result in you losing motivation. And now lastly, we're going to talk about the third place, which is a cafe or a public or shared study space. This can be a good option because in some ways it can be a middle ground between studying in the library or at university and studying at home. Firstly, a big thing is that you have easy access to coffee and snacks and stuff like that, which keeps you comfortable in a way. Being well fed or getting these little treats in between studying will motivate you to keep going throughout the day. So motivate you to get to the cafe and to start studying in the first place. It's also outside your home, but it's a neutral environment. So although you're getting a change of pace, you're not surrounded by friends or people you recognize or familiar faces that can be distracting because you might just start talking to them and waste some time instead of getting work done, which isn't always a bad thing, but when you really have to get something done, then you probably want to be focused. And another plus is that honestly some cafes and some study spaces are like really nice, so if you're into the whole aesthetic thing, then this might be something that's really good for you. This option has a lot of disadvantages though. If you're in a cafe or some sort of not dedicated study space, then there's the possibility that it might be very loud, and that's usually a distracting thing. And there's a lot going on around you. In a public space, inevitably things will happen. There'll be conversations, there'll be, some problems or something, and it's kind of distracting. I personally don't find it as comfortable as the other two options because it's not a dedicated study space and there are many people around there just, doing random things, and it's not super comfortable to just, have like one coffee and then just sit there the whole day, because if you get up, you might lose your place, you may have to come back and get something else, so you really have to stay stuck in that spot for a long time. And then of course you can't sit there without buying something, so it does come at a cost. You don't have access to any resources like you would in a library, or honestly you would at home as well. Overall, unless it's something you're really keen on, objectively I don't think it's the most conducive environment. But of course, that'll vary from location to location, because Starbucks might be really, really busy and really loud and, packed and very distracting. But at the same time, you could go to a individual coffee house or something like that, or a cafe that's not a chain, that might be quite empty and quite calm, and that may be a lot better. And finally, like I said in the beginning, if there's a fourth sort of place that works for you, like I said, I sat in a park, and some people like to do that. Some people like to sit down with their laptop or their books or something in a park when the weather's good, when it's nice and sunny outside. And honestly, that's not a bad idea, especially if it's a calm, not very busy park. You may have some particular place that I'm not aware of that works really well for you. But essentially, evaluate all these factors if you're not sure. Think about, where am I going to be the most distracted? Where am I going to, where am I going to be the most comfortable, in the sense that I'm not feeling, conscious of what I'm doing or where I am, or I can get up and do whatever I want in between. And at the same time, what environment helps me really stay focused and has factors that maybe enhance my focus and enhance my learning. Essentially, just figure out what's best for you out of these three options, weigh up the list of pros and cons for each one, and whichever combination looks the most appealing, go for that. But that's all I have for this video. It's something that I think about a lot, so I hope it was useful to you, insightful, and if it was, definitely consider dropping a like down below. Smash that subscribe button, and leave any comments asking me any questions about anything. And with that, I will see you in the next one.